Brakate Yahweh, Brakate Yahweh Shai, Brakate Yahweh, Brakate Yahweh Shai, Brakate Yahweh, Brakate Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim, Rakat Kodash, the blessings to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, which you well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Sadakim, that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. On the pre-Shimon, this week's topic, gonna be doing a response to the elder in Connecticut, Elder Ayathon's uh, video on the New York Stock Exchange. This video could be seen on GMSOnair1. And in the video, the elder was going into the fact that, pretty much the origin of the stock market goes back to slavery. Um, Before it was called Wall Street, it was Water Street out here in New York. And they were slaves. There were stocks being traded. Very similar to your NFL draft, your NBA draft. It's the same thing. The slaves, were stock, and there's different bids and prices for them. And you have buyers and you have sellers. And the same thing is going on in the New York Stock Exchange, yet it's businesses, parts of companies. The elder had mentioned that Jake is getting hip to the New York Stock Exchange. Primary reason for that is years ago, when you wanted to buy a stock or part of a business, um, there were commission fees, right? So you'd have to pay every time you buy a part of the stocks. As of recently, there's now free commissions. Now, we know Esau is very subtle. He studies everything. I'll give you an example. When they say free commission, it's not truly free because you're gonna pay back these people in trades. Most people when they get into the stock exchange, they're active. There's so much deception. The elder's right. You use something like Robinhood, but when it's green, it's up. When it's red, it's down. Green and red is just trying to trigger your brain to tell you to do something. When sometimes the best thing to do is absolutely nothing. More often than not, the best thing to do is nothing. When it comes to investing in the stock market thing, think about it like this. If you go out there and you plant something in the earth, imagine every day or every 2 weeks you go dig it up to try to plant it again. It never truly will grow. So it really benefits the patient. But here's the shit. Jake, one, we don't have the ability to be as patient as Esau because Esau has, as the elder was mentioned, generational wealth, the ability to wait a year to 10 years and just sit there. But most part, the money we put in, we sort of need it. We don't have the ability to wait as long as these devils. So Jake be trying to get it into it for a quick flip, and that's how they get you. It becomes a casino, and if you ever played the casino, your casino is ruled by your emotions. You think that if you get lucky, so called, you think you influence it in some way or something like that, and the same thing applies at least in the short term, the day to day with this stock thing, and it's oh man, one if I could say anything, if I could advise any brother right now, if they want to learn up on this and study the stock market and get involved with the stock market, more often than not, most people should just leave it to a professional. That's what I'd say because the emotional temperament needed to be successful in this thing, not many have it, and it's a thing that just has to get built upon because if most of us we use this thing, we're gonna check it every day. We're gonna, shit, I'm losing money when all type of stuff, and all these things are just robots playing with the numbers, fucking with your mind to make you be hasty, and then that's when Esau has you buy high and then you sell low for a loss. You truly don't lose money till you sell. That's one thing I'll say. I'll mention. You don't lose money till you sell, but till then you have paper losses, and those paper losses when you see that you're down, not necessarily lost the money, but you're down 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, it starts to weigh on your emotions. And like the elder said, certain people can't bear it. They jump out of windows. They off themselves and their family. In fact, you had this one Edomite. He wasn't trading options, and he didn't understand what the hell he was doing. He thought he lost 750,000, well, he truly didn't, and then he killed himself. So this thing is a dangerous game, and I believe one legendary investor was saying pretty much uh, new investors coming in is like something to the effect of having given somebody a match and having them running around in a dynamite room. You know what I'm saying? Like, Charlie Munger says, giving new investors the ability to trade options or be active in the market is like giving crack or heroin to a teenager, man. This thing could be addictive. You could lose a lot. Most people do lose. That be active in this thing is a very dangerous game. So with that, I'm going to the scriptures. And the elder had mentioned that it's rigged. And yeah, it is, because you have something called insider trading, which they say that Esau says it doesn't, it's illegal, but they do it anyways. Insider trading, I'll give you an example. Let's say I owned a company, right? And I have a friend that wants to invest and make money. What I'll do is, right, I own the business, right? I'll have them load up shares when it's cheap. I'll keep the stock down. I'll say that my business is not so good. We're not doing too well right now. The whole time behind the scenes, somebody's buying, buying, buying. And I break the news. Oh shit, we just found a new cure for COVID, and then it spikes. That person that's been loading up for 3 months to 6 months, he's gonna pretty much control the market, dictate, because he has all the shares. It's a monopoly game, and be very careful, brothers. Like I said, if you want to really get into that thing, more often than not, most people 9 out of 10 times should just leave it to a professional, because they, even though they say you could get in it, and it's, man, look, it's not for everyone. And first of all, we in the truth, as the elder had mentioned, our first priority should be on the scriptures. This is Nahum 3:1, right? It says, "Woe to the bloody city." Yes, the city is founded upon blood. Going into the water street, going into the trade. Esau, you drive around and you see certain things. You go to certain nice neighborhoods, you get pissed off how lavish they're living, and you know why? It's because of generations of free labor built upon the back of the slaves here in America, man. From the Negroes on down to the different northern kingdoms that was also exported from different islands and cargo slave ships, man. Fulfilling the curses in Deuteronomy 28. So this place is built upon blood. It says, woe. Woe means destruction. Destruction will come upon this place for the rape, robbery, and murder of the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are God's chosen people. All right? Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is chosen people. Yasha Allah, he's a prince of the power. It said it's full of lies. And what's part of the lies that we're going into? Hey, this New York Stock Exchange thing, man. All right? Telling you, um, you know, just using deceit and shit to really take your money. It says in robbery, and a lot of people get robbed. You know, it's so much manipulation that goes into that thing, and Jake just have to be careful. Jake's mentality is quick flip. I need this bread this week. Casino, have fun, and if you're not careful, man, you could get murked. And I've seen it firsthand. I've experienced it myself, and I've seen it firsthand where it's a complete hype. Oh, it's fun. This is gonna go up. And then next thing you know, 1 month, 2 month, 3 months, just continual downtrend. And I mentioned some of these Edomites have to have the patience for it. One of these famous Edomite investors, his name was John Templeton, right? He started a fund, right? And check this out. The fund that he started was down for 3 years straight, man. How many of you Jakes could get in this thing and be down and wait 3 years? This Edomite waited 3 years and just kept buying things. So you see what I'm saying? It's shit like that. Like, it's not meant for everybody. Because really, the only advantage you as an average person have is the ability to wait. You see these major hedge funds and these billionaire players that get into this thing, they have to have they have a burner performance that they need to, because they imagine rich people money, they need to tell them, oh, we're doing good this quarter, that quarter, which is about a quarter is 3 months, and there's 4 quarters, 3 times 4 is 12, and so there's 4 quarters in a year. A lot of them have to, perform within those 3 months. That's how come when you look at a certain of these stocks, you see major fluctuation when you hit the 3 month time spans. You know what I'm saying? Because that's when they either try to make or break. They can make money if it goes up. They can make money if it goes down. But within that 3 month spans, they manipulate the stocks and, and news and all that to try to, have a performance in 3 months. The only advantage you have, all right, as a casual investor, is the ability to wait. And most people are impatient, and that's a trick to it. That's a trick to it. This dude Warren Buffett says the stock market is nothing but a transfer of wealth from the impatient to the patient, and a lot of us, we don't have the time for that shit. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to get some money, or just Jake is just not in most Jake's favor to really mess with it. It says the prey departeth not. Now who's the prey? We're the prey. We're captive here in America. All right, this is a prison camp, as the apostles did a documentary years ago. This is a prison camp for us, man. We're not meant to prosper here. Micah 2:10. This is not our rest. So things are not really going to go in our favor. Are there certain Israelites out there that are well off? And of course, you're going to have outliers. You're going to have Israelites that, hey, could get into this thing and become millionaires. Um, could do certain things in this society and become millionaires and all that and get rich and all that shit. You know, there's always you have Israelites all up in these major sports shit, and they make a lot of money, but then the curses catches up to them. You know, the curses catches up to them, and they go broke a lot of times. So, as the scripture says, man, these curses are gonna cleave onto you. You know, they're gonna cleave onto us, prophets, righteous Israelites, wicked Israelites. It's gonna cleave onto you. Once you're an Israelite, these things are gonna cleave onto you. Now, this is James 5:4. It says, "Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields. That's us. That's the Israelites, man. All right. As the scripture says, the plowman shall overtake the reaper. We've been plowing and building up this society. Hey, shit, Jake, but the slaves built up the stock market itself. They're the one. They were the stock that was being traded. It says, which is of you kept back by fraud. Yeah, and there's a lot of fraudulent things that go in there, man. You know, y'all, Elder Dunn here to use a Robinhood. Now, this is how Robinhood makes its money. Check out the fraud right now. Robinhood makes its money when you hit to buy or sell a particular stock on that brokerage. They send your information to what is called market makers. A market maker owns the majority of the shares of the stocks. Why do they own it? Because they have to keep this thing liquid. They have to keep the spreads narrow. What do I mean by that? I mean when you go buy a stock or sell a stock, somebody is buying it and somebody's selling it. The person that's buying and selling it is the market makers. They make it easy so you could instantly sell and instantly get out. But they have high frequency trading machines that collect your data in nanoseconds and sell it to you for like a 1 to 2 cents difference. You know, like, so example, if you hit buy, if you want to buy something for $10, they'll sell it to you for like 10.02. At 2 cents, you might say, oh, 2 cents ain't matter. But they're doing this with millions upon millions of shares, and ESO makes a shit ton of money like that. So when you go to buy, you're paying more for it, and when you go to sell, they're underselling you. And these things are happening at nanoseconds, and that's how Robinhood profits, or as some people call it, Robin the Hood. And that's true for all these brokerages, man. So it's very hard for Jake if they, especially if they're trying to guess what this thing is gonna do tomorrow or next week. You're not gonna win that way. You're not. That's not the way to go about that thing. But most Jakes get into it for that, and fucks a lot of people over. It says, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth, which is the Lord of armies. All these. Look, man, when we perish, yes, our spirit goes and rests, but look, man, we complain. We complain like, why is this wicked ass shit continuing? Why is this people suffering? You know what I'm saying? We complain in the kingdom of heaven when your spirit passes on. Yeah, so as you read about Abel, his blood was crying because there's so much innocent. Well, let me not say innocent. Scripture says none perish being innocent, but there's so much blood being shed here in America, and that blood is crying on to the Most High. And this land is never going to be cleansed until the blood is shed of him that shed all the blood. Who's shedding all the blood? Esau, Edom. Okay. So Proverbs 28:22, it says, "He that hastens to be rich hath an evil eye, and considereth not that poverty shall come upon him." And this is, man, this scripture links up perfectly what goes on into that stock exchange. People jump in that shit trying to be rich quick. And shit, why would you not trying to get money quick, right? You hear your friends making it, and it's so much shit like manipulation. But yo, look, repeat the second part, and consider it not that poverty shall come upon him. And the elder used that example. Everybody running in to buy. He said he used Neuro at 2030. Man, it's gonna keep going up. And I'm gonna put my whole fucking 2 month paycheck in this thing and double that shit. Next thing you know, boom, tomorrow you're poor because you done paper lost a lot of money. Now you might have to wait, shit, who knows, 1 year, 2, 3, 5 years before that thing even goes back up. So people just say, fuck it, I'm gonna sell it. When you sell, guess what? They run it right back up. Because when you sell, somebody's buying it, and it's a market maker. So that's the trick to it. They wait it out. They have the ability to wait it out because they're the market makers. They have all the shares. They have money. They could wait. You, as the average go investor, you don't have the ability to wait, man. They could short it. They could sell it down. It's a whole bunch of shit. That's just like how they manipulate the price of gold and silver. They can manipulate the price of oil. They manipulate the price of stock. There's a lot of market manipulation that not just happens in the stock market, but all sort of markets. And who's to blame? ESO, the elites. Look at oil. Look at the price of oil. Oil fell all the way down to 99 cents. When Trump left, oil was $1.28 or $1.18. Now it's almost at $5. Now, what was Trump saying concerning oil? When it tanked, he said, I love it. Buy more. Buy all this oil. But people were saying, hell no, we're not dealing with oil. Everything's going electric. Everybody was putting their money in EVs. And guess what? Look at it now. EVs ain't shit and oil is all the way up. So that's the manipulation right there. They have the ability to say, this ain't shit. Don't mess with it. Meanwhile, they're buying it up. And when people start to get hip to it, then they sell it back down. You know? The housing market. Or even yet, look at what Esau does with gentrification. He increased crimes in the neighborhood, brings the price back down, bring the value of properties in these neighborhoods down through crimes, and because we already know that he controls the music and controls the vibration of these hoods. And then when he's ready, he buys it dirt cheap. You know, the projects in Harlem, like crack in the 80s, he put cracks and drugs in the 80s. The whole time nobody was fucking with Harlem because it's depressed. The so-called Jews was buying up all sorts of property in Harlem. And when they were situated, okay, now let's gentrify. Let's clean it up, raise the price on everything. And them same things that we bought for dirt cheap, we're going to sell them for 10x, 10 times the price of what it costs. In the 80s, you could have lived in Harlem in the projects for dirt cheap. Certain parts of Harlem now is luxury. And who manipulated that? The so-called white man. He does the same thing with stocks in any market, oil, you name it. You know? This is Hosea 12:7. It says, now this is talking about Ephraim, but I'm using this for Esau. It says, he is a merchant, right? So-called white man is a seller, right? The balances of deceit are in his hands, right? The balances of deceit are in his hands, or it's in his power to deceit balances, deceit prices, deceit wages, to manipulate markets. That's in the power of the so-called white man. It says he loveth to oppress. And that shit is oppression, man. Imagine that. Imagine putting your hard-earned paycheck, you know, you buy something, one, you're not even buying at the right price, you know. Next thing you know, you wake up the next day, 50-40% of your paycheck is gone now. You know, he has the ability to do that. And the rich get richer while the poor get poor. So, man, concerning that stock exchange thing, hey, brother, I would just say, you brothers and sisters out there watching, be very careful with it. You know, from my personal experiences, be very, very careful. Leave it up to a professional. I would just say most people should not even deal with it, you know, because it's not meant for certain individuals. It's just truly not, you know what I'm saying? It's Isaiah 32:7. It says the instruments also of the churl are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor, right? So you already don't have shit in the society. And the so-called white man say up and say, you know what? Let's make them even poor. Let's say you could buy stocks now for free. They're gonna have fun. We're gonna manipulate them shit and make the poor even poor. You know, during this pandemic situation, it's a good example of market manipulation, right? Because the while you was worrying about, you know, the Windows 19, okay, so-called white man was using this what they call a black swan event to create this artificial crisis or stock market crash, because it crashed last year. And you know, they were saying, you know, it's the end of the world. Pretty much this thing is going to destroy everything, no business. And the price of these stocks and these businesses fell to dirt cheap. Everybody was getting out, everybody was fearful. Guess what? That's when the rich are buying, man. That's when they're going around shopping. And because a lot of it is ruled by emotions. When crashes happen, most people get scared. You know, they see their portfolios down 60-70%. But that's when these elite people are buying. And when they running that shit back up and everybody's jumping in, that's when they're getting ready to sell. So they're pretty much doing the opposite of the masses. And you might say, oh, that's easy. You know, I'm just going to do the opposite. But the emotional temperament and the patience needed is for those individuals that have it, is few and far between. That's like a most overall lose. You know, like how they say in a casino, the house always wins. All the house needs to do is win 52% of the time. It's going to profit. You know, and it's the same shit. You know, as long as you're winning more than you lose, that starts to compound and you start to get more and more riches. It says he devises wicked devices. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words. Hey, this is crap. Don't mess with this. Don't touch it while they buying. Or, yo, this thing is about to go up. It's going to keep going up. It's going to go up. Everybody get in. And then they sell it down. Lying words. Create false articles. You know? Shit, man. The Spirit had us going into this thing last year, what it was like, man. How this whole uh, pandemic situation created a huge opportunity to transfer massive amounts of wealth. I mentioned one company, BlackRock, right? BlackRock went from managing $6 trillion under assets to $28 trillion assets after this whole pandemic situation. It says, with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. So, man, the so-called white man, as it is written, never trust your enemy, all right? And he's a subtle devil. He controls that market. So, man, like again, like the apostle, like the elder Ayathan was saying, man, to the Spirit, a lot of people just, that shit will fuck you over, you know? Like, thank Yahweh Shem Yashar that, you know, we in this truth and we understand that at the end of the day, all this shit is going to come to an end. Now, here's a tactic that, you know, that happens in that market that, you know, the scriptures speak about. Proverbs 20:14 says, it is not, saith the buyer, right? Meaning, yo, that shit ain't good. Nah, man, I don't like that price. Nah, something's wrong about that price. Here it goes. Now it says, but when he is gone his way, then he boasts us. Meaning, yeah, shit, I got that sucker. I got him for a good ass deal. That's pretty much what goes on into that market. You know what I'm saying? When you, and any brothers that have experience in that market, you already know the shit that people are not messing with. 3 months later, that's the thing that's gonna double or triple in price. And the thing that everybody's messing with and everybody wants, 3 months later, it often goes down in price. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much like how that whale. There's a whale, man. I wish I had the video. You should see how it catches little fishes. It creates like this huge bubble of pockets, and these fishes are jumping and gathering together, and then you just see this huge ass mouth come and swallow all the fishes. And it's pretty much the same thing. You have whales, market makers, people that have billions of dollars that create phony stories, situations to hype up a particular stock. And you have the fishes, which is the average retail investor, you know, myself, everybody else, you know what I'm saying? You go in there, you like, shit, man, I could make a little cash here. And then that whale swallows you up, like dumping that shit down hard on people. And that happens at the small level, the micro level, and the macro level. That's how come you have these people, like the elder was saying, go to a legend, just say fuck it and swan dive off. Because mentally, that shit could break you in pieces, man. That's another avenue the so-called white man used to destroy people. You know? Rigging markets. Proverbs 7:2. But ultimately, look, man, the riches ain't gonna profit in the day of wrath. Proverbs 10:2 says, treasures of wickedness profited nothing, right? So all this shit that the wicked, fraudulent money that they're heaping up upon themselves, it ain't gonna profit them in the day of wrath, because there's no ransom you could give Yahweh Shah when he comes back. All right, you're gonna have to pay for what you did to the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans from the hardcore labor. Hey, hell yeah, to robbing them too, robbing them with your markets and manipulation, all this type of things that Esau has done to our people. He's gonna have to pay for it. It says, but the righteous deliver from death. But righteousness deliver from death. And what's that righteousness talking about? These scriptures, as it is written in the book of Timothy's. Thou hast known the holy scriptures from a youth, which is able to make thee wise unto salvation. This is why the scriptures is above rubies and money and women and every other thing that the flesh seek after, because at the end of the day, none of those things can deliver you. The scriptures can. The knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahshua, that's what's going to deliver us out of here, Lord willing. All right. So that's what we lean upon. Hey, man, you might get in that shit, you lose money, make money, but at the end of the day, the main money and riches that we cling to is the scriptures, man, because that's what's gonna deliver us. Lord willing, we have the elect. Proverbs 15:16. Better is little with the fear of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, than great treasure and trouble therewith. Right. You know, hey, one of these dudes said, more money, more problems. I wouldn't say more money, more problems. I'll say more money, more responsibilities, man. Because yeah, shit, you bump into a lot of cash, man. There's a lot of responsibilities and hell that's come with it. Often it's better to just live a simple life. You know, as it is written in the book of Timothy, the 6th chapter, godliness with contentment is great gain, right? So to be content with your life and the situation that Most High put you in, your daily bread, that's really better a lot of times, because what? Because there's less responsibilities and shit you got to worry about. Elder Ariala gave a good example. Who you think stresses work more? All right, when you go to McDonald's, is it the manager that has to manage multiple franchises, or the guy that's flipping the burgers? Of course, the guy that's managing more and making more money has more shit to worry about than that dude that's just in the back flipping burgers. You know what I'm saying? Now, society and all that will frown upon that dude, but the scriptures just tell you, man, a lot of times it's better off just to be content with your life and your lot that the Most High gave you. You know, the Lord's Prayer is only 3 verses. It ain't long. And mainly it's just going into honoring the Father and and just asking for your daily bread. Most High will take care of you. Okay. So hey, look, man, if any brother was to mess with that thing, stumble into money, you get a good comeuppance. Hey, thank the Most High. Do pray for wisdom to manage yourself with that. But for the most part, brothers, beware. Beware, because that thing could be very costly, and it could be a snare and a trap. That stock exchange thing. With that, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rekah Kodash, that belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, which you well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Zadakim, that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.